It's the most underrated vegetable in your kitchen. It makes you cry. It makes your breath memorable. And most people over 40 are either eating it wrong, not eating it enough, or completely unaware that this humble vegetable is doing something extraordinary inside their body. After the age of 40, onions interact with your cardiovascular system, your hormones, your blood sugar, and even your cancer risk, in ways that modern science is only beginning to fully understand. Some of what I'm about to share will genuinely surprise you. One thing in particular might change how you eat onions forever. Let's get into it. Section 1. Why onions become more powerful and more important after 40s. Here's what most people don't realize. The older we get, the more our body's internal defense systems weaken. After 40, chronic inflammation quietly accelerates. Oxidative stress builds up faster than our antioxidant enzymes can neutralize it. Arterial walls stiffen. Insulin sensitivity declines. Hormonal balance shifts in both men and women. Now here's where the onion comes in. Onions are one of the richest dietary sources of quercetin, a flavonoid antioxidant so potent that pharmaceutical companies have been studying it for decades, trying to replicate its effects in pill form. Quercetin is a natural anti-inflammatory, antihistamine, antiviral, and senolytic compound, meaning it actually helps your body clear out damaged, aging cells that accumulate after 40 and drive many age-related diseases. No other common vegetable delivers quercetin at the concentration onions do, and the biology of what it does specifically in the over 40 body is remarkable. Let's break it down system by system. Section 2. What onions actually do to your body after 40. 1. Heart and blood pressure. This is where onions earn their reputation. Quercetin has been shown in multiple clinical trials to lower systolic blood pressure by 3 to 7 millimeters of mercury in adults with hypertension, a result comparable to some low-dose medications, but with zero side effects. How? Onions contain compounds that stimulate the production of nitric oxide in the endothelium, the thin lining of your blood vessels. Nitric oxide relaxes and dilates blood vessel walls, reducing the pressure your heart has to pump against. After 40, natural nitric oxide production declines significantly. Eating onions regularly is one of the most evidence-backed dietary ways to support it. Additionally, onions contain organosulfur compounds, the same family of compounds found in garlic, that inhibit platelet aggregation. In plain language, they help prevent the kind of blood clots that cause heart attacks and strokes. For anyone over 40 with cardiovascular risk factors, this is not a minor benefit. 2. Blood sugar and insulin resistance. After 40, insulin sensitivity naturally declines. Your cells become slightly less responsive to insulin, which means blood sugar runs a little higher, and fat storage becomes easier. This is the biological root of the middle-age spread that frustrates so many people. Onions directly address this. Studies show that quercetin and another compound in onions called chromium improve insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. One study published in Environmental Health Insights found that eating raw onion daily significantly reduced fasting blood glucose in type 2 diabetic patients. Even if you're not diabetic, if you're over 40 and watching your waistline, regular onion consumption is quietly working in your favor. 3. Brain and cognitive protection. Here's something that rarely makes headlines. Quercetin in onions is one of the few dietary antioxidants that can cross the blood-brain barrier, the protective wall around your brain. Once it's inside, it reduces neuroinflammation, protects neurons from oxidative damage, and has been shown in animal studies to inhibit the accumulation of amyloid plaques, the protein clusters associated with Alzheimer's disease. Human population studies back this up. Consistent consumption of flavonoid-rich foods, with onions being one of the primary sources globally, is associated with significantly slower cognitive decline in adults over 50. 4. Bone density. For women especially, this one matters enormously. A study published in Menopause, the Journal of the North American Menopause Society, found that women who consumed onions daily had 5% greater overall bone density compared to those who ate them once a month or less. For women over 50, that 5% difference can be the margin between a fracture and no fracture. The mechanism involves quercetin, inhibiting the activity of osteoclasts, the cells that break down bone tissue. After menopause, estrogen decline accelerates osteoclast activity. Quercetin acts as a natural brake on that process. 5. Cancer risk reduction. This is where the research is most striking and most underreported. A large meta-analysis covering dozens of studies found that high onion consumption was associated with a 14 to 44% reduction in risk for several cancers, including colorectal, stomach, esophageal, and breast cancers. The compounds responsible, quercetin, fisetin, and organosulfur compounds, inhibit tumor cell proliferation, promote apoptosis-programmed cancer, cell death, and disrupt the signaling pathways that allow cancer cells to survive and spread. No, this doesn't mean onions cure cancer, but as a long-term dietary pattern beginning in your 40s, the protective signal is consistent and compelling. Section 3, the raw versus cooked question. This changes everything. Here is the part most people get wrong. Cooking onions destroys a significant portion of their quercetin content. When you caramelize, fry, or sauté onions at high temperatures for extended periods, quercetin degrades rapidly. A heavily caramelized onion has roughly 30 to 50% less quercetin than a raw one. So does that mean you should only eat raw onions? Not exactly. Here's the nuance. Raw onions, maximum quercetin, maximum organosulfur compounds, maximum cardiovascular and anti-inflammatory benefit. Best for people who can tolerate them digestively. Lightly cooked onions, gently sautéed for 5 minutes or less, or added to soups and stews in the last few minutes, retain most of their benefits while being easier on the digestive systems. Heavily fried or caramelized onions, still delicious but nutritionally diminished. Fine occasionally, but not your primary onion intake. Section 4. Who should be careful? Honest cautions. Onions are extraordinarily safe for most people, but there are specific situations where caution applies after 40. Digestive sensitivity. IBS onions are high in fructans, a type of fermentable carbohydrate that feeds gut bacteria. For most people, this is a benefit. For those with irritable bowel syndrome or other functional gut disorders, fructans can trigger bloating, cramping, and discomfort. If this applies to you, try cooking your onions thoroughly to break down fructans, or explore green onion tops, which are low FODMAP and much gentler on sensitive guts. Blood-thinning medications. Onion's natural anti-platelet effect is gentle in food amounts, but if you're on warfarin, clopidogrel, or other anticoagulants, very high onion consumption could theoretically enhance the effect. Talk to your doctor. Don't eliminate onions, just be consistent, rather than suddenly eating large quantities. Raw onions are documented triggers for acid reflux in susceptible individuals. After 40, GERD prevalence increases. If this is you, cooked onions, in moderate amounts, are usually tolerable. Section 5. The optimal onion protocol after 40. Here is the practical daily framework based on the research. How much? Aim for half a medium onion daily, raw, lightly cooked, or a combination. This delivers a clinically meaningful dose of quercetin, approximately 20 to 35 milligram, alongside organosulfur compounds. Best timing. With meals, to help blunt post-meal blood sugar spikes. Before cardiovascular exercise, some evidence suggests quercetin enhances endurance and reduces exercise-induced inflammation. Best pairings. With olive oil, quercetin is fat-soluble. Healthy fats significantly improve absorption. With vitamin C-rich foods, tomatoes, peppers, citrus, vitamin C regenerates quercetin after it neutralizes free radicals, dramatically extending its effectiveness. With garlic, the organosulfur synergy between onions and garlic for cardiovascular protection is one of the most documented. In nutritional science, best varieties ranked by quercetin content. 1. Red onions, highest quercetin concentration. Eat raw in salads or lightly pickled. 2. Yellow onions, excellent all-purpose. Great quercetin content when lightly cooked. 3. White onions, lower quercetin, but still valuable organosulfur content. 4. Green onions, scallions, mild, low FODMAP, good daily option, especially for sensitive digestion. The onion has been on human plates for over 5,000 years. Ancient Egyptian workers building the pyramids were paid partly in onions. Hippocrates prescribed them medicinally. And today, the science is finally catching up to what traditional cultures have known intuitively for millennia. After 40, your body needs more support, and it needs it from food, consistently, over time. Onions are cheap, global, universally available, and backed by some of the strongest dietary science we have. Starting tomorrow, add half a red onion to your lunch, raw with a drizzle of olive oil and a squeeze of lemon. That's it. That's the move. If this opened your eyes, share this video with someone you care about, who's over 40. It might be the simplest health upgrade they make all year. Subscribe if you want more science-backed, practical nutrition content like this. We publish every week. Take care of your body. See you in the next one.